We live? It looks like we're live. What is good, people?
Hello.
KOA family. Know this is a change of events. Our resolve was to get 500 subscribers before we did the face cams, but we're here now. This was one of the changes.
Just missed the mark.
Yeah, a smidgen, a smidgen. But these were one of the changes. If you were watching last podcast, I was referencing. The layout as it stands right now is temporary, so don't get too attached or too accustomed to that. But the face scams will be a staple of the podcast going forward. So get used to our beautiful faces. Okay.
Yes.
Decrepit Storm in the chat says, "Whoa, I didn't know they had faces. I didn't know I had one either until I turned on."
Oh,
the camera.
we got faces.
Yeah,
and we're gorgeous.
I just exist on the internet, so I'm literally AI. What is good, Carp? Also, I'm going to pretend I didn't see that title. Whoa. Oh, we're talking about the KOA. Oh yeah, so. I'm kind of caught in like this time loop thing where everything is fall season. I don't know. Fall season is it ties into KOA like because that was our first season. So ignore that. It's summer season. Yeah, it's summer.
Everybody it is the beginning of summer.
Yeah. But before we get into any of the shows, I guess we can talk about some of the shows that we'll cover tonight. So we'll be covering Zom 100 as per EA's request. We will be covering Mushoku Tensei as season 2, as that was something that was that was also from EA, that came from previous podcasts, so that got grandfathered in. As well as JJK, even though that technically wasn't on the KOA podcast, it was still covered on here, so that will be talked about, not tonight, but because I'm not caught up, and we can have a discussion about that, like where I am in JJK and how I feel about it. And we'll also be talking about Rurouni Kenshin, as well as Fate, but again, Fate's not going to be talked about today. What is good? Minoze? What is good?
Hello.
Decrepit Storm says, "I was wondering if this was Steins Gate or something, and you guys time travel a little bit. We can't get too much into it, but you know, I am John Teeter.
There's some green bananas that we do not want to discuss."
Decrepit Storm said, "This doesn't look that bad of a dungeon. You don't know the half of it. I have the green screen covering it up right now, but if I lift this up, unspeakable horrors will be revealed. C-Tactus will be in jail if he wasn't already dead for at least 500 years. So
it's a shame.
Yeah. If we resurrected him, I would sentence him to jail, prison immediately. But stuff like that doesn't happen. But
nope.
Yeah. I think the first thing, as I said, is I kind of want to talk about JJK because again, that will be covered on this podcast, just not this podcast, just not this week because I'm not caught up. I was planning on doing a Hail Mary and trying to catch up, but when I woke up, I finished episode 9. So I would have had to have watched, it's 24 episodes, right? I would have had to have watched, my math is failing me right now, like 15 episodes in a day, which is possible, but not in my advanced age.
Yeah. So basically what you're saying is you dropped back for a Hail Mary, and just like Jameis Winston, you threw it 20 feet.
I would say, it went in the hands of the receiver and it fell out. It was unfortunate. I overthrew it a little bit and they didn't stretch out enough for it. It was one of those things where, because I watched a lot of the episodes now. I think I got up to episode 14, I believe. It was right before the big fight between the two schools and whatnot. That was the last thing I I ended up watching. So I watched a fair amount. It's just once I got to that episode, I just knew if I tried to keep going, I would crunch for time and I would risk not watching the rest of the show. So I said, let me just dial it back. We'll try it again next week.
I'm so curious to hear what you have to say about it when you get caught up.
Well,
especially for the people that don't know, you swore that you'd never even see this show.
This is true. I made a pact with myself, as I do a lot of times, and this is the same thing that happened with Chainsaw Man back in the day. I would say like 2020, 2019 maybe, where I said I wasn't going to watch or read the series because someone kept nagging me to watch it, and they pester me over and over and over. Funny enough, that same person is the one who coerced me into watching it again because they practically begged me to watch it, and I couldn't. I have a little bit of a heart, a little bit. I defrosted a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's good. That's good to hear that you broke your own vow just to appease this person.
I mean, yeah. And I've broken my vow I never had a vow against Demon Slayer. I just wasn't really willing to try it again on KOA. So it's not the first time it's happened.
Yeah, we did kind of kill it too. So,
but the Chainsaw Man, the reason why I ended up going back to that is it wasn't because of the power of friendship. It wasn't because I was thinking about the betterment of the podcast. It was literally because of the Makima fan art. Back in those days, I want to say this was in 2020. Back in those days, Makima was the hot topic. Makima was like how 02 was back in the day when everybody wanted to cosplay her and everybody was drawing her. Makima was that big. And out of that dwelled a lot of great fan art, some of it dubious, some of it wholesome. And you decide which one you think is what attracted me to Chainsaw Man. But yeah, the fan art was enough for me to go, I want to know more about this character. She looks kind of my type, so let me see. But yeah, that's how I got back into Chainsaw Man.
Yeah. Wow, we got a good amount of people watching this right now. 8 people watching. Thank you for watching, everybody. QRW6 says, "What up, KOA? Happy to see all handsome faces. Just watched I think he meant Slim Daddy movie. It was good. It's everything we had from Slim and continue things from season 2. Maybe one of these days I'll get back on the Slime Daddy wagon, but I don't know. I'm kind of far gone from Slime Daddy."
So did they do it to where it's a canon movie? It's been a lot of those lately to where the movies tie directly into the story rather than it being a standalone thing. I think the Spy Family movie is supposed to be its own thing. It isn't supposed to relate to the manga, but
have you seen some of the stuff with Spy Family? The fact that they're collabing with Street Fighter 6 and they did a poster mock-up of the new Mission Impossible that's coming up. Like side by side, they have all the characters replaced.
The Mission Impossible thing I did see, but not the Street Fighter stuff.
Yeah, it has like the picture is Yor going against Chun-Li. It looks pretty cool.
I got Yor.
Chun-Li?
I haven't played Street Fighter. Yeah, she is. I haven't played Street Fighter myself, so I don't know the entire lore of the story, exactly what Chun-Li can do. But Yor is kind of supernatural herself, so
it's kind of funny because like Yor is strong with her legs, and Chun-Li is also strong with her legs. So it's literally gonna be like a kicking fight.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a. Have y'all read the Chainsaw Man manga? Not me.
I have.
That was
Part 1 though. I haven't read anything of part 2. So all of the Yoru and Asa greatness. I'm not privy to, but part 1 I've read all of it. But please don't take that as a notion that to spoil anything.
Yeah, please don't.
Yeah, EA hasn't read it, and well, actually, I think C has read it, but actually C is further than me. Now that I think about it, but EA hasn't read it, so.
Yep, I went into Chainsaw Man blind, and I mean, if y'all are interested in that and are new to the channel, you could totally see it on. I think it was last fall that we watched that.
Yes.
Wow, these things just fly by. I swear.
Oh, it's almost been a year.
I know, right? I swear, the older I get, the faster things go.
Yeah. But briefly, before we get into the show, I want to talk about my experience with JJK. So I kind of want to pick EA's brain as far as who he thinks my favorite characters would be. So EA, you've known me for, what is this? It's going on 5 years, right?
It's going on 5, yeah.
So I'll give you 3 slots to try to guess my favorite character. Three opportunities.
Okay.
Go for it. The chat can do it as well. If the chat thinks they know me well, try to guess my favorite character in JJK.
I'm not good with names, but I would say the woman with the bags under her eyes.
Okay. No, I'll let you know after the fact. I'll let you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, woman with the bag under her eyes. Let's see, it's none of the guys. It's all the women. I know that. Probably the one with, I think it's the light blue hair that's got that hair in front of her face.
Oh, and keep in mind too, for anybody that may be trying to guess, I only got up to episode 14, so there may be some characters I didn't get to. You're talking about Miwa though, I think.
Yeah, and I'll just say it because I like her, Nubara.
Okay, those are your guesses. Locked in.
Locked in.
You're completely wrong.
Well, that shows you what almost 5 years of friendship goes for. I don't know anything about you.
So let me try to guide you. So you would be surprised to know that none of my top 5 characters in JJK are women. None of them.
Wow. Okay, that's probably where had I known that, I probably would have gone a different route then. Sheesh.
If you want to give it another go, I'll give you another go. 3 guesses. No women.
Okay, no women.
Women.
The main character, I'm just throwing it out there.
Okay, Yuji.
Yeah, Yuji. The main villain of the series, the one that is inside Yuji.
Sukuna.
Yeah. And oh yeah, that's another one. Probably brother. The one that well, I don't know how far you got. Okay, maybe you know what, you didn't get that far. You didn't get that far, so I'm not gonna say him. I know who you hate. You hate the spiky hair dude, the friend. Because he's the pompous, arrogant. No. That's it. Shuguro. You hate him.
Shuguro. Spiky.
The silent type, who always reads and kind of keeps to himself, and he hates.
Aren't you talking about Megami?
If that's his name, like I said, I'm so bad with these names.
You're talking about the guy who's in the main group, like him, Yuji, and Nobara. Yeah, Megami.
Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. I always called him Shiguro, but you hate him.
I don't hate Megami. I'm indifferent to Megami. But as for my favorite character is Sukuna.
Oh, okay. So it is the villain.
Yeah.
You like those good villains.
I find Sukuna hilarious. It's not even just because, part of it is because he's strong and a villain, but I find Sukuna absolutely hilarious. Any opportunity he has to sabotage Yuji, as long as it's not at his own expense, even sometimes it is at his own expense, he would do it. I find that so funny. It's if you ever watched or read Naruto and you see Naruto's early relationship with the Nine-Tailed Fox, it's the same type of or it used to be the same type of relationship where the Nine-Tailed Fox would try to take over and control the vessel and take ownership back. But Sukuna is interesting because I know for a fact he will never waver and will never, ever, ever fall on Yuji's side. So whenever we see him and Yuji's in a bind and he's asking for power and he just goes, no.
Nope.
you can die for all I care. I'll come back. I find him so hilarious.
But, I mean, it's kind of realistic in a way too. It's like, he's a villain.
Yeah.
He's like, well, if I die, why do I care?
Yeah.
I'm immortal.
Yeah. I would say besides Sukuna though, because I would say these characters are 1A, 1B for me. Like they're that close. Besides Sukuna, Nanami is my other favorite character. I love Nanami.
Who's Nanami again?
Nanami is I call him the real sensei of Yuji, but he's the one with the glasses and who never wants to do overtime.
Oh yeah, he is really cool.
Yeah,
I like his outfit.
Good outfit. Cold outfit.
Yeah. What about Gojo?
Gojo isn't.
Ladies love favorites.
Him. So far he's just all right for me.
Yeah.
I don't really
he's
have
strong.
I don't really have strong feelings towards him. I would say it's only 3 characters I have strong feelings for: Sukuna, Nanami, and Todo. Those are the characters I really love.
Okay.
Todo is great. Todo is actually great. Anytime
is Todo the big strong dude?
Yeah.
I thought so. Yeah, he is really good.
His introduction is just great. Megami, what type of women do you like? I like women.
Just
like
wait till you get a part.
With strong resolve. You're boring.
Yeah. Yeah, when you get to that part with Todo, you'll know which one I'm talking about. It's fantastic.
I think I know what you're talking about. Are you talking about the Jennifer Lawrence thing? Because I've seen that before, so
okay. Well then, yeah, but it's so fucking goofy how he answers it, and he literally has a made up flashback in his mind that him and Yuji have been friends for years, and he calls him his brother, his best friend, and I just die every time I see that.
Toto is a mess. I think someone said something about my camera stuttering. I don't know why it's doing that. It's probably because my PC is that bad. It shouldn't be doing that. Let me see. Let me just see something really quick. Let me see. Well, as long as EA's camera's fine, then it should be all right. Yeah, EA's camera's fine. Mine's is a little slow, but it is. Yeah, but Toto he's cool with me. Yeah, mine's is for whatever reason. PC is struggling to capture my video feed, but hey, we'll be better next time. We'll get stuff resolved, but
we'll get it next time.
We'll get them next time. All right, so the first show to cover today will be...
that's right, we have shows to cover.
Yeah, we got to actually do this anime thing. I don't know.
God.
Am I intruding on some of your plans? Yeah.
Yeah, well, I was gonna have a night out and have a steak dinner, but I guess we'll do the show.
Yeah. We only kept people waiting for like 10 minutes. All right, so the first show to cover today is none other than the Rurouni Kenshin 2023, because there's an older version of the show, which I guess that'll be the first thing to ask. Have you ever had any experience with the show, manga, anime?
So I remember a long time ago when it was on the Toonami block. I don't think I ever watched this. I remember always hearing it. I remember always seeing it. I remember people always saying that it was a great show. But I personally don't think I've watched one episode. That was always one of those when I knew it was coming up. I don't know. Maybe I'd change it. Maybe I'd be like, this is stupid. I'm going to wait for Dragon Ball. You know, something like that. But I don't think I watched the original one. I think this series is going to be more, because I know it's a manga and it's been finished for a long time, but I think it's going to do what Fruits Basket did. It's going to finally adapt it like to the manga, because I think when the original show was coming out, the manga was still going, you know, just like everything, you know, it gets popular enough, they release it at that time.
QRW6 said, did Light and Film succeed the first episode or flop because of Russian? So, because I don't have any experience with the show, I can't give you like how accurate it was or how well they did in comparison to the manga. But I would say just for a first episode, and as a person who is an anime only, for this anime and this anime alone, I think the first episode was decent to good. Like,
I think it was pretty solid.
Yeah, and I had my caution with Light and Films as well, because they are really hit and miss. I think they also did Blade of the Immortal, and that was the show I watched. Oh yeah, QRW6 just said that in the chat. Because I watched the first 4 episodes of Blade of the Immortal when the anime came out, and I think that show was 13. First of all, it was just messed up because of how rushed it was. 13 episodes for a manga that is 100-something plus chapters. I didn't even read Blade of an Immortal, but I just knew that for what they were trying to adapt, for how many chapters was, with how many episodes they had, it was not going to work, and you could just tell it was rushed even without any experience with the manga. But then watching it too, the animation was horrible. There was one scene in episode 3, I believe, where straight up they don't animate anything. It's like flashy cuts of stills, and they use the flashy, like how fast it shows up on screen to disguise no animation. It is horrible. It's horrible.
They're just fighting each other, and it's just 2 stick figures. It's like someone's holding it up and just like hitting them together.
Like, yeah, it's basically like if I boom, someone take a picture of that, and then EA like does a kick, boom, someone takes a picture of that, and then they just show it on screen fast. That was basically what it was.
That's
horrible.
Awful.
Yeah,
that sounds bad. And I know nothing about Blade of the Immortal other than the fact that it's a highly loved series. Mm-hmm. It's like, why would you do that to a series that is highly regarded as being great? I never understood that. Yeah, let's just go the cheap way. Let's just cut corners. Let's, you know. Oh, what is that? Shoestring budget? Oh, a couple things here and there. Yeah, fuck it. Just throw it in there. It'll look good.
Yeah. It was not pretty it was not a pretty sight to look at. Kyoto said 24 Blade of the Immortal. Last episode got me mad. 7 chapters and the finale rushed. Oh, it was 24 episodes of Blade of the Immortal? Oh, why did I thought it was 15?
I'm surprised they went that far, to be honest.
And Decrepit Storm said, yeah, I didn't care how it compares, but the episode seemed okay to me. Yeah, the episode seemed fine. When I saw people talking about the Rurouni Kenshin episode, this episode 1, a lot of people were saying that it was bad and that they fumbled, but I didn't really see it. Now, I will say this series has a target on its back, and I was actually surprised that C pick this show because I don't know. Do you know the what happened with the mangaka of this series, EA?
I think so. Without getting this video demonetized, the mangaka is let's just say, does stuff with kids, right? Is that my understanding?
Hoarder of those type of videos, but yeah.
On his PC.
Yeah.
And it's okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So
gotcha. I did hear about that, and I remember talking about that. I think he talked it about on one of these episodes that we did with KOA, how he said that it's a shame because it's such a really good series, and then the guy's despicable. And it's that whole thing, separate art from the artist, and it can be difficult, especially if it's something like that. I understand.
Yeah. So with that being said, I think that adds on to, people just preying on the anime's downfall because of the mangaka's history and whatnot. Which I'm not going to blame people for that, but just giving up my objective view of what the animation was, and of course not talking about the mangaka. Like this episode, the first episode seemed fine to me. So
yeah.
It's crazy that this is my first experience talking about this show because of how beloved it is. But so yeah, we had Kenshin in this episode, and he was just running around, hanging around what's her face? And
yeah, the pretty female protagonist.
Yeah, and he's one of those characters to where he acts it's kind of like Vash, I kind of look at him in the same light. Maybe not the pacifist thing, but a person who appears to be very humble, but the audience is aware of how powerful they are because he's a Rurouni, and again, he doesn't seem so assuming. People kind of look at him and like he's trash, but as we saw in the episode, he got everybody out of there. His sword style is tailor made for 1v mini combat, and he was able to just wipe the floor with everybody. So I guess first impressions of Kenshin.
Pretty much, if anybody has a scar on their face into the shape of an X, I don't think that they're a pushover. I mean, anybody that has scars on their face has definitely seen battles. But first impression myself, I thought it was pretty solid. I went into it not knowing anything either. I couldn't tell. Like, that's kind of crazy how you say that people thought that they fumbled it, because I'm honestly thinking, are those the people that watched the original anime and are like, it's not the same, it's different?
That could also be a factor as well.
Because overall, I think it's solid. I feel like when it comes to nitpicking things here and there, you kind of lose on what the studio is trying to do, because I think overall it was solid. It wasn't. Now, if it was like you said, where they had like flashes of like still frames and them trying to fight, okay, I would understand where they would drop the ball.
Yeah.
But the animation looked fine. It didn't look cheap, to be honest. It looked pretty good. So I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think the art is pretty good too for the series. Like, it's definitely because I've at least seen Kenshin before, so I'm aware of how like the old art looks, and with this being modern anime, it's a lot brighter and more saturated, as opposed to how like a lot of things back in the days were like it was like a lot more muted, and characters just looked a little more mature for 90s anime. So he's kind of,
for sure,
he's depending on how you feel about 90s animation or 90s art versus modern stuff. He's either like a victim or the benefactor of modern animation and how he looks, because there's definitely a shift in that. But I think Yeah, I think just the look of it is fine. The animation art, don't really have a problem with it. Nothing blew me away, but it's serviceable to
it definitely felt like an old school anime to me, and that's probably because the story itself is older, so that kind of goes hand in hand. And because the woman falls immediately in love with him the very first episode. I'm like, okay, yeah, this is this is the old school anime mentality. But yeah, nothing really. I didn't hate it. I didn't like, oh my god, love it. It was just all around solid. I'm curious to see what happens next.
QRW6 said, plus my memory of the first episode back in the day is foggy, but I'm still cool with the current. I also remember Rurouni Kenshin has some filler. Yeah, this episode
that makes sense.
This episode just established those two characters, so I'm pretty sure going to be staples moving forward. Of course, Kenshin is the main character. The other character's name is Kaoru, the girl. And I don't know if they're going to go on an adventure. Or that's the thing. We didn't really learn what the plot of the show is necessarily. We just know who Kenshin is.
Right.
Badass fighter.
I'm pretty sure.
Works alone. Of course, that goes with the Rurouni thing. And we got like history with Kaoru as far as like her sword style that was passed down to her from her father. But as far as the story moving forward, we don't know where we're going to go exactly. But I would assume that Kaoru is going to follow Kenshin, and there's going to be some drama and fights and blood and stuff like that.
From the first, I guess like the opening, it looks like there's going to be two other characters. It's kind of like that ragtag, people join for adventures, kind of like Inuyasha, that kind of feel, because it's also set in old, Edo, Japan?
Yeah.
So it definitely has kind of that feel. I don't think we're going to have as many demons and miasma coming our way when it comes to the series, but I feel like they're going to do this series justice. I know KRW6 said that the old 90s one had filler. That makes sense because of the manga was going on at the same time that the anime was. So this time it's going to be fully adapted. So there's going to be no filler, I don't think, unless they decide to make filler. Because, come on, I'm too old to watch filler.
Yeah.
No more filler in my life.
We don't have enough time for all that stuff. It's
we
not
don't want to watch Inuyasha's daughter eat pancakes and choke and die.
I don't think there's a lot of long-running series to even do filler like it used to be back in the day, because there used to be entire arcs of filler, but nowadays is with filler is maybe you'll get 1 or 2 episodes, but usually never more than that.
I feel like the attention span of younger audiences couldn't take what we grew up watching,
Probably
when
not.
It comes to the old Dragon Ball Z's, and I'm not talking about Kai, I'm talking about the actual ones where they have the long drawn out pauses and you're just on scenery for like 5 fucking minutes and then 2 minutes of fighting and nothing but talking. I hope we never go back to that. As much as I love Dragon Ball Z, whenever you rewatch it, it is definitely a struggle.
Yeah.
It really is.
Especially just because of how accessible things are now. When we were watching anime, we were watching it on TV, and that's how we got anime.
Yep.
We couldn't go on Crunchyroll. We didn't have Verve or whatever site you may think of. Like what we saw on TV is what we got. And the only time you could rewatch something is if we got reruns, or if you were fortunate enough to catch something on the VHS and record it that way.
It would absolutely suck whenever the episodes would be, every day at a certain time. If you miss that one day and you go in to watch it the next, you're like, what the fuck just happened? Luckily, they have a preview, the previous episode, but you're like, oh man, that happened?
Yeah,
all that cool shit, and now I get to miss it.
Especially if your show's not popular, because if it was a show like Naruto, what they would do with Toonami is they would show the previous episode from last week, and then put the new episode in the block. So, and I think they would do it 2 episodes. So if you were 2 weeks behind, you would still be fine because the new episode would air at 9, while the previous 2 episodes would air at 8. So you'll be good with that. But if your show was, if you were watching, let's say, what was not that great, popular of a show back in the day, let's just say Hunter x Hunter, like the first Hunter x Hunter. If you were watching that, they were not showing the previous episode for that show.
Oh no! If you missed it, you missed it.
Yep. that was just the end of it. So, but
man,
this show is fine so far. I don't really have any strong opinions on it. I guess I'm just waiting to see what it's all about and to see more of Kenshin. You know, there's one thing that bothers me about Kenshin. I hate the way he talks.
Oh my! I was about to say the same thing. He talks like Yoda.
Yeah,
he fucking talks like Yoda. He's like, very good. You are not, or whatever the fuck he says. It's always a matter of fact. Yeah, I noticed that too. I was like, he's talking like Yoda.
What's wrong with you?
I wonder if the mangaka was like a fan of Star Wars and he just decided to write him like Yoda or something.
I don't know. I was waiting for a character in the series to call him out on it, and they never did. So I don't know if they think it's weird or what, but I'm just like, why are you speaking like you're a Shakespeare character?
I hope the next character goes, why the fuck are you talking like that? I don't understand. Why can't you just say yes?
But yeah, I think that's everything that there is to say about it. Not too strong of an episode, but also not bad. You know, I'm open to seeing more of this show, so I think that's the important thing.
Yep.
Probably the weakest of the bunch that we had thus far, but not really a bad thing. The next show to cover is EA's pick, so I'll let you take the lead on this. Zom 100.
Oh my goodness, this was a great first episode. This is really, I picked this one mainly because of the fact that I like zombies. I'm a huge, one of my favorite animes is, High School of the Dead. And I know it's not like in high regards of being this masterpiece or anything, but damn it, I love the smut. I think it's great. But I saw this one, I was like, yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll pick this. I didn't expect it to be a complete deconstruction of the zombie genre, where basically, well, first of all, the main character is an adult. Always a fan of supporting adult animes. Mm-hmm. I loved the whole how they broke him down from being this bright-eyed and bushy-tailed go-getter to 3 years this company that he works for, which I guess is a production company. I guess he works for entertainment business, I'm assuming. And it just broke him down. And I know that Japan has different like working laws than the United States. Like I know it comes to, they work so many crazy hours. It's ridiculous, the insanity that goes into it. But then I guess when the zombies come either halfway, kind of towards the end, somewhere around that point, that's when we get the opposite effect. Normally when the zombie apocalypse happens, everybody is scared, everybody's afraid, they're trying to think of their loved ones, trying to fight for their life, all that shit. Mm-hmm. But our main character, it does the complete opposite. He's fucking happy. He's like, I fucking that off. And I could not have been happier with that. I thought that was a nice kind of like twist in a way, where it's just his job was the worst thing in the world. Not the zombie apocalypse, mind you. The zombie apocalypse, that's just in the background. He hated his job so much that the zombie apocalypse was just like a fucking splinter in your finger. You know what I mean? And now, I'm assuming this is what's going to happen with the show. And it was kind of like cool how we said it, because I'm like, man, we should all be living like that, where it's like, you don't know, when tomorrow's going to come. Sometimes you focus on work too much, but then you never have time to focus on fun. And he's making basically a bucket list, and he's going to fulfill these things during the zombie apocalypse, which I don't know if you can do most of those things. I know he said skydiving. I don't know if you can do skydiving in the zombie apocalypse, but
you may have to put that on hold.
That one you might have to reassess, but everything else, sure, go ahead. Why not? Story was great. The animation is fantastic. Just really artsy. I love the editing, just the editing choices of just those steady shots of where he's in one particular pose and it's a different background every time. Oh, that was a great director's choice to show the passing of time and just years. Yeah, I think my dry spell has ran out because I picked this show and it's finally succeeding.
So before I give my opinions on it, I want to read some of the chat. So, QRW6 said, I'll wait until Aniplex gives us an English dub too, since it's under the property. High School of the Dead vibes. The Decrepit Storm says, I don't know which half of the episode was scarier. QRW6 says, entertained is all I'm saying. The Decrepit Storm says, big fan of supporting adult anime. You might want to rephrase that, EA.
You know what I meant, Decrepit Storm?
We're big fans
I'm talking
of adult anime and adult entertainers, all of that. We love adults.
Don't we all?
And we have Ryzen. Hello, Ryzen.
Rising.
He says, there are days I feel the same way about my job. Also, hi EA and Sasuke, and a new KOA look. New for maybe about 3 weeks or so, but I think it's nice looking. It's neat.
That'll be a surprise.
Yeah, it'll be a little better next week. Decrepit Storm says, so is C a zombie right now or fully dead? I would say fully dead. I haven't checked on him in a minute, but yeah.
Yeah, let me poke him with a stick.
Is okay.
Yeah, I think he's dead.
Ryzen said, I really loved the episode and the meaning behind it. Visually, it was pretty cool. Yeah, the visuals were pretty really impressive. So, with this show, one thing that I thought was cool that they kind of made apparent in the setting of the world, because we're zombies, apocalyptic, like we know what we're going for with this. So what they made that clear that was cool to me is how the idea of zombies was presented with his work environment, because I think like what clicked for me was when he's out drinking with his co-workers and whatnot, and once it's time to go back to work and everybody stands up and you see the characters with the glasses, with the what it is with the the glinted glasses, and it does this little sheen, and they all stand up, and it was like they were like zombies. They were just, it's like getting the horde
go to work
and leading them, and even the way they were moving to, even the main character, which I took a screenshot so I could remember his name.
Akira
Tendo.
Go with Akira Tendo.
So yeah, even the way he was moving was zombie-like, and the whole idea behind it was mindlessly and aimlessly going about life with just a goal with the work environment, with his real life, or I guess his life before the zombie apocalypse. That being the goal, just being money, surviving. In the same way, you can look at zombies where they're just aimlessly walking around trying to survive, and there's not really any point to it, because ambition and pride and wants are kind of taken out of the picture. You're just moving along life, again, without anything to really strive for. And that's how it was for him, because he started with a lot of hope and a lot of naive ideas about how things would go, and then he ended up feeling trapped in a job where he wasn't moving up, he wasn't making more, he was overworked, and because it's another thing too. It's easy to just say quit, but for one, you never know. Like he said, you never know if you're going to end up in a worse situation, because that is very possible. Two, when you're a working adult, it's when you are out of work for a minute, it's without the right support, you could fall apart. So sometimes you just have to keep things up just to survive. Because again, if you don't have support, it's really hard to just say, I'm going to stop this, because you don't know when you're going to get back into something, how much is going to pay, and location, stuff like that. Like with him, he just felt trapped in his job, and then it's kind of crazy how a zombie apocalypse is what it took to be free from the mental shackles of work. And he even describes it as his world was monochrome. And I like what I really like was how they had the blood splatters as colorful paint, visualizing his world being painted over anew with the zombie apocalypse. Because you would think, in the zombie apocalypse, you would think this is horrific and terrible for anybody, but for him it was like being reborn in a way. So it was a very creative way to go about the zombie apocalypse thing. I don't think I'll be sure in saying this, I've never seen anything like this before.
The closest that I would say that I've seen where it was unique like that was Shaun of the Dead. And that's the British zombie apocalypse movie. The one where there's a scene when the zombie apocalypse happens. Our main character, Sean, he's just going through life normal and everything. He doesn't even know the zombie apocalypse has happened. Like, he wakes up, he goes across the street, gets his groceries, says, "Where are you, Doug?" The guy that he always pays. "Well, leave your money here." There's zombies literally behind him, and they're about to get at him, and he's just like not even paying attention, just walking. It's so funny, but then eventually he just kind of looks around and goes, "Wait a minute. I think there's something wrong here."
I wonder if that will play out in real life, because of how people are always on their phones and not really paying attention to their environment. That could definitely be a thing to criticize, like how self-absorbed people are in their own little world, like virtual worlds.
That'd be cool. I'd be interested to see that.
I feel like they've probably done that on a smaller scale, just as a gag somewhere in some zombie shows, probably. But
they probably have, I'm sure. But yeah, this director that did this first episode was really good, very creative,
for sure. Just everything about it, like some of the angles they were using, like the chase scenes were pretty great. I think.
Yeah.
Just for a first episode, this probably had the best first episode out of the things I watched thus far.
Same. I was hooked after it, and I didn't know what to expect. Like I said, I just picked it because it said zombies. I'm like, zombies, I want. So the fact that it's even a show that I'm looking forward to seeing, and it actually has potential to be a really great show, I'm all for it. Absolutely. The funny thing is, sorry, continue.
I was going to say, I just hope it doesn't lose momentum with this first episode, because it could go in a lot of directions, and it could fall back on the generic setting of just surviving a zombie apocalypse, or it it could keep going for what it's doing right now, which is almost telling this weird uplifting story of someone who has reignited their passions. I would rather them do that, because it could be awkward, it could be clunky in some areas. It's not really an orthodox way to go about your story, but I would rather them do that than just tell another post-apocalyptic zombie story, because we already seen a million of those.
Yeah, and some are better than others. It all just depends. It all ends the same. What I was gonna say is this is a very unique time for the series. The series has an anime that came out yesterday, but in a month from now, they're gonna have a live action version of this show on Netflix, and I'm like, why are they doing that? That's kind of interesting. I mean, to each their own, I suppose, but I don't know if it was like one of those things where they were working on the live action at the same time the anime was, or vice versa. It's just, usually they don't collide like that within a month's time. It's one comes first and then after is the other. So I thought that was weird.
Maybe they're trying to capitalize on the fandom they can get, and maybe get some more people to go into the anime. That's it's interesting way to go about it too, because then it's a question of, is the live action going to follow the anime? Because is this I'm not sure. Is this does this have source material? Was this a manga or something?
Let me see. Let me see. It looks like it is based off a manga. Huh. Go figure.
Yeah, never heard of this manga before. I wonder if it's still
neither.
Is it still ongoing? Do you know?
It says releasing, so it looks like it's still ongoing. It started back October 2018. So I don't know how many chapters. I would assume it would have a decent amount right now. So yeah, it's still going on.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. So it's 14 volumes as well.
Yeah, this could be a show that complements the manga, you know, get people interested in the manga and have it be read or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if it's close to being finished or what.
This show is just wacky though. It's they did the whole NTR hentai plot within the show with the guy's crush being taken in the back by his boss and getting banged out, and he's hearing it.
Oh, that was that was it wasn't. And just imagine if you worked there. It's not just him either. Like, everybody is trying to meet a deadline, and you just like, oh, he's fucking her again.
Even like, you could tell that's what they were going for just because of the guy's appearance. It was the textbook ugly bastard type of thing. The way they drew his lips and his physique and everything. It was yeah. And then he ends up killing that guy, which makes me question, okay, this is why I am kind of sure that they're going to go for what I said with them just being this uplifting story of this guy reigniting his passion rather than falling back on the typical zombie story, because of how superhuman this dude is. The dude is able to tackle a 300-pound man out the fucking window.
Yeah, one hit.
He needs to come to Tampa, because we can use him on our as a linebacker, something.
I mean, somebody sign that man quick, whether it be your team or mine.
We are going to put you in a helmet and some pads if you can do that.
He did say earlier in the episode that he played rugby, so it kind of made sense. So
I guess it could translate.
But yeah, that's strong. But you're right though, when he knocked him out the window on the first hit, and then he knocks him and busts out the window, like he hit him with enough force to where he shattered the window, and then the guy just completely exploded. exploded on impact when he fell and hit the ground.
Yeah, and then there's another part in an episode where he jumps off a building and he falls on like the roof of one of the, not a roof, but like it's like a roof part of a building, and smashes a whole bunch of zombies like he's in Mario or something like that. So it's very wacky cartoon physics. I know anime are cartoons, but I mean Western type of cartoons. We're talking about Tom and Jerry type of stuff, you know.
Yeah, it's definitely influenced on the Western side of things. I could tell just by the way it looks. It's definitely very, very colorful, very artsy, very unique. Definitely. I guess he'll never get to have sex with the mistress.
Yeah, he'll just have sex with a non-zombie girl.
yeah. And I was wondering if they were going to show her as a zombie or not. And then I saw her as a zombie. I was like, oh, well, that's a shame. But then he was like, I have a confession I got to say to you. Yeah. Ever since day one, I've always liked you. And she's just coming after him. He's like, okay, fine.
That was a yes,
though. I didn't want to tell you anyway.
That was a yes.
You think that means yes?
That was a yes. He got his confession.
That means yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, that was a big part of the episode, just because he talked to his boss and he did his resign. He resigned. So yeah, the episode was just getting stuff off of his chest, and again, being free. A lot of weight was lifted off of him based on this thing happening. But with this show going forward, some things I'm wondering if the zombie setting is ever going to be explained and then I also wonder if the MC is going to actually care, because now he has this lifestyle where he feels free. So I'm wondering if there will ever be a moment to where he stops and thinks and actually appreciates the life he had before then. Because he had a bad period of his life for 3 years, but that's not to say that his entire life was horrible.
Right. And also, maybe he will think about maybe family in his life. Like, oh my God, is my mom and dad alive? Is my significant other or brothers, siblings, whatever, alive? But it does seem like that they'll probably play with that whole notion of his life is happier now. It's the zombie apocalypse, because the scene after the zombie apocalypse happened, and you see him, I think he was just laying on a roof, and all these zombies were right behind a cage and everything, just trying to get after him. He's just laying, and I think he was even laughing and smiling, just going, I don't have to go into work tomorrow. It was just stuff like that. And I can see that kind of working throughout the show where, I don't know, let's just say he does something he wants to do. There's zombies in the background doing something, but he's just living carefree and being happy. And I'm sure he's going to meet some regular humans along the way, as the cover art would suggest. And I think that's when maybe it's going to be an interesting contrast to see that even too, where probably these people are like taking it seriously, and they're like, why are you not even scared? Why are you acting so happy? And he's just like, because I have to go into work. And they're going to be like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I think that's the least of our problems right now.
It's like, where did you work? At a freaking diamond mine or something? But it's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen. This is probably, so far, one of my favorite shows. And it was just so unexpected of how, like, I had a feeling the show was going to be good. I didn't know it was going to be that good.
Yeah, it was super unique. One of the big surprises, I think, for this season, as far as like how eye-catching it was and just different it was with the story. The Crepper Storm said nobody takes vacation time. I wouldn't want to ask that guy for vacation time even if I had an army protecting me. Oh, you wouldn't ask the ugly bastard guy for a day off? Oh, well, actually it was two guys, because it was the ugly bastard guy.
It was a supervisor.
Yeah, then it was a supervisor who was yelling at everybody who made the girl cry.
He made the girl cry multiple times throughout the episode. I'm like, damn, you're an asshole. That would be an HR violation.
Philip is in the chat. It says, "Oh snap, let's get the likes up. Our boys need us." Oh yeah. Please subscribe if you haven't. That will definitely help.
Definitely helps the channel.
Yeah, help people find us. But I think that's all I had to say about this anime. I enjoyed a lot, and yeah, I'm interested to see where they take the story.
Yeah, I just, like you said, I really hope that it doesn't falter. Even if it does turn into kind of like a zombie apocalypse, like, oh my god, be okay. As long as they do it in a way that fits the show, I won't mind. But all I'm saying is just, you had such a unique first episode and an original way of going about it. Let's not lose that, and let's keep it, and let's not suck.
Yeah. Episode 2 will be a test as to where they go with the story, but we look forward to it. But the last show to talk about tonight is it's been a staple on this podcast. Very interesting show to talk about because it sparked a lot of controversy within even our own chat. And outside of KOA, because I've had my talks with people on it. But Mushoku Tensei Season 2, we are back.
Sometimes it's known as Tensei. That was the 10-speed joke that we did. I'm riding my Tensei. But
episode 0 and 1, by the way, guys. So if you guys haven't watched episode 0, we're talking about that as well.
So 0 was basically a prelude to the first episode. I got to admit, I hated the 0. I hated that episode.
You hated it? Wow.
I hated it.
We have different opinions on that. Why did you hate it?
I didn't care about what was going on with Sylphie. Like, well, okay, I understand it's all about her story about what happened during, what did they call it? The Big Bang? I forget what they call it, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, teleport thingy.
Yeah, the teleport thingy happened, and she fell from the sky. Her hair magically went from green to white for some reason. Never explained that. Kills a boar.
I thought her hair was like naturally. Well, it's because of her. If I'm not mistaken, it's because of her race that her hair changes colors like that. I'm pretty sure we've seen her hair color like that before.
Really? I felt like it was always green.
Somebody in the
Maybe
chat.
It's been that long.
Somebody in the chat, please correct us with Sylphie's hair. I've not rewatched the first season, so I'm kind of removed from it. But wasn't there something about her hair color changing? That's not the first time we've seen it.
I think I remember her character, like the fact. Well, they hid her face. That's why they put the glasses, the Bret Hart glasses on her face, was because I guess the red eyes. People were like racist against that type of species because they saw the green hair and the red eyes, and for some reason they don't like them because of that. Thank you, QRW6. Listen to C Tactics recap video from the death.
I'm not interested in a dead man's words.
But I guess to continue on, I guess it did establish a little lore, and I'm sure Sylphie's going to be a bigger part in season 2. That's probably why they showed where she ended up, but I don't know. I was just bored the whole time I was watching it. I'm like, I don't care about this princess trying to have her way with Sylphie. I don't care about all the politics that are going on. They had an assassin that seemed to have more clothes than Ghislaine on, which I don't know how that's possible. But I was more into episode 1 than I was episode 0. I'll say that.
Okay, so with episode 0, let me say this first, because apparently there was controversy with episode 0 because some fans of Mushoku Tensei were complaining about Crunchyroll's censorship of episode 0, which I think you watched the same episode I watched. So I don't know all the differences in censorship that there was with this episode, but one of them was pointed out to me by somebody in my Discord, and the censorship was the assassin who was wearing like a string when she was sitting on the guy's lap when he was touching her back. Instead of the part that was censored was him touching her back, because instead in the uncensored, uncut version, he was touching her ass instead. And I just sat and thought that's the censorship, you know?
We needed ass.
Yeah,
I don't understand.
I needed to see the she looks underage. The G-string assassin's ass be groped. I demand it now.
Yeah,
I think I'm all right.
That guy, the bald guy that looked like the dude from Game of Thrones. It's like, I don't care to see. It's like, oh, they changed that scene. It's not going to ruin my life, you know.
Maybe they just read the light novel and it was described in vivid detail, and they're just like, I can't wait for this anime scene. And they saw it and they just, no, your hand is not low enough.
Why? You said back. I meant lower back or ass. And you didn't touch any of them.
Oh my god.
Oh my.
Imagine that being like, you know how we had our issues with Game of Thrones and things. Like, imagine that being somebody's like last straw with Mushoku Tensei. Like, you've changed too much. You strayed too far.
I think I'm done with this series. They didn't touch ass. They touched back.
Ugh.
I understand the song Baby Got Back and everything, but it's not the same, damn it.
Nope.
Not the same.
We want booty. I came here for booty, Tom.
I want you and I need you.
We're gonna do this the easy way or the hard way.
I don't think you. Oh! So you want to do it though? Oh my god! I don't like little boys. No, I want some man butts.
A man's
whoever
what?
Knows.
That guy's free, by the way.
Talking about.
He's free, by
That's
the way.
what I heard. Mm-hmm. Oh well, somebody hide Tom.
Apparently, he's been free for a minute, and he has like a wife, and he's living okay. And he apparently too. I didn't actually look at the interview, but apparently he was mad at the Boondocks depiction of him. And I sat and I watched that, like, I think they did you exactly how you presented yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's the funny part. Boondocks barely did a caricature of him. He is, because they put his actual real interview from where his character was inspired to what he was saying in the show, and it's damn near a one-to-one adaptation of you. They may have embellished things to make it more funnier, but the essence of who you are is still in that character.
Right. For the people that are offended with Boondocks, it's like they make fun of everybody. You know, calm down. Tyler Perry hated it.
Yeah.
I love that episode. That was the one where the neighbor was going to jail, right? And he's like so afraid of getting in the butt. He just did the walk as a self-defense.
You can't take my booty.
Paid off.
You can't. You can take my freedom, but you can't take my booty.
Take my booty.
But yeah, episode 0. I would say I would agree. Episode 1 is stronger for sure. But I won't say I love this episode, but I thought this episode was pretty all right. For one, it gave us more lore with the story of having this focusing on this other kingdom and showing us the for lack of better phrase, like the Game of Thrones type of thing going on with the character that Sylphie was involved with, Ariel, I think that was her name, Ariel, and her trying to. I wasn't sure if she was actually trying to succeed her brother, but her brother at least thought she was, and that's why the assassination attempt happened and all of that. So it gave us this little mini story that kind of expanded the story, and based on her brother actually being an important king figure, I'm pretty sure episode 0 is probably going to be something that we focus on later on in the story. And then 2, it's just Sylphie is a character. Sylphie isn't a super important character yet, but she is one of those early characters we were introduced to. So it's just good that we got a rain check on her to see what was going on with her. But as far as like anything new, like I don't think this episode made me love Sylphie or anything like that. I'm pretty indifferent with Sylphie, but Ariel, I liked Ariel at least. I like those cunning type of characters who don't have all the tools necessary to make things happen, but they work with what they got, which is her smartness. Like how she was able to evade her brother, and kind of because her brother kept trying to put her down, like when she went to the ball, and her brother was doing a passive aggressive thing, and how she kept her composure and was able to talk to him without stepping on any landmines. So like Ariel, that was a new character that I liked from episode 0. I think the story was all right too, but Sylphie, I can understand not really caring about Sylphie, and that lead into you not caring about episode 0.
Yeah, she wearing those Brett the Hitman Hart glasses the whole time, and I was just like, you're not him
at all.
You're not him.
We got that little Yuri scene too, which
yeah, where she kind of forced herself onto her. I'm like, it's consensual. She's like, no, I thought we were just going to bed. I didn't expect this to happen.
Yeah, which I don't know if that's supposed to indicate anything, but yeah, that was interesting.
Would you call that Yuri bait?
I wouldn't say it's Yuri bait, because we don't know if these characters are like actually lesbian or not. I would say it's Yuri bait when the series is like, they know that you think these characters are together, like they understand the pairing bait, or the pairing want with the fandom, and then they just keep teasing it. I would say this is more so, this could be an actual thing going forward that shows Sylphie is lesbian or bisexual, or the same could be said about Ariel. So it's not Yuri bait until they keep going on with this. It was kind of just establishing it first.
Okay.
The Decrepit Storm says, good to see what has been going on with Sylphie at least. The stuff with Ariel was kind of interesting too. A Sony C47 said, did you guys notice the discussion about am I reading that right? Does that say tit type?
I think so.
No, I did not.
I think I missed that one.
Tit type? No, I missed that. Yeah. Decrepit Storm said it's like Mushoku Tensei can't go more than a certain number of episodes without something like that. Yeah, I didn't notice that. tit type? I'm still trying to figure out where that was exactly in the episode.
Isn't there an animal called a titmouse? Maybe they were talking about mice.
I don't even remember tits being mentioned. I don't know.
Me neither.
Maybe you were watching a really uncensored version. The true uncensored version.
Where the hand was 5 inches lower than it should have been.
Yeah.
And also where they talk about tits.
I need to watch that episode. We got to rewatch the entire episode now.
Yep. Got to do it.
But yeah, episode 0 was it was all right. Like I said, just good to see what was going on with Sylphie and to see her get a little bit of shine. But episode 1 is where what we really care about. We got Rudy back, and
he was an emo kid.
Much to my enjoyment. Actually, it wasn't even really to my enjoyment. I can't say I'm that big of a hater of Rudy as I was back in the past, simply because I haven't watched season 1 again. So a lot of the feelings I have towards Rudy have kind of dissipated. I still dislike aspects of him, but they weren't prevalent in this episode. Like, we didn't really get pervy stuff in this episode. So when Mushoku Tensei
to the very end,
even then, because he had the even then with him having Roxy's panties and whatnot, to what I took away from that scene is more so that is his only real, not only because he still has the staff, but that's one of the connections that he has to Roxy, and they didn't use it to do a gag or anything like that. So even with that scene,
he didn't wear it on his head and go, "I miss you."
Yeah. So it was, even with that, I didn't even have an issue with that. When Mushoku Tensei is serious, then it's a really good show. And this episode was serious, and it was a really good episode.
Yeah. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was, like I said, we got a little emo Rudy, but I kind of understand, because the last time we saw him, he got some sex and then he got dumped. So, that's one of those things where I understand why he was moody, but we were introduced to some really cool characters. We got, I'm not going to know their names, Sarah, Suzanne, and a couple of other people. There's Timothy, Luke, all that. Okay, that group, they seemed like a nice group of people, because it kind of like it gave him his spark back. And I'm talking about Rudy, because he was kind of like depressed the whole time, like, oh, what's the point? I'm gonna sleep in bed with no heat, no fire going and everything, and just be bleh. But yeah, he you could say he got that spark back after seeing what they did. He even apologized. He shook all their hands, and even Sarah was like, I owe you one. It's not like I like you or anything.
Yeah, how do you feel about as Decrepit Storm calls her, budget heiress, blonde heiress?
What's weird is she almost looks more like Zenith, and I almost thought they were trying to allude to the fact that maybe they're related in a way. That maybe that is his aunt. Like, they could be sisters, like Zenith's sister. Who knows? But Sarah's gonna have more. She's gonna have more of an impact. And what I'm hoping and praying doesn't happen is, please don't be another love interest. Please.
I think if they did that, that would be very bad. Just because I full well expect Eris and Rudy to be a thing by the end of this series, and it would be a bad look if you had a character with a super similar personality to Eris and you made her a love interest with Rudy as well. And then too, I'm pretty sure Sarah's a grown woman. Well, they say she was she was younger. So I would, if I were guessing her age, I would probably say she's like 18 or something like that. She's definitely not as old as Suzanne, I think that was her name. Like some of the more experienced adventurers. She's like on the immature side, but she looks older than Rudy. So
yeah, because Rudy, is he supposed to be a teenager now? I know he was like a little kid and everything, baby, but I feel like he should be a teenager now.
So he is older.
Oh, Rudy is 10. Okay.
I was gonna say Eris is older than him by 2 or 3 years or something like that, I believe.
Yeah.
And last time we seen her, she was 14. I believe. I'm just throwing out numbers.
Rudy kept her hair that whole time, but he did burn it at the end. I was hoping he was gonna do it because I saw that fire. I'm like, throw it in the fire, and he did. So I was like, good. Get rid of the past. Get rid of the hair. Yeah. That shit catch on fire. That stuff burns and all that smoke come in. I was waiting for oh god, it's getting a little smoky.
just die.
Just randomly dies.
Rudy is 10. That's based off his adventure card. If we do EA math, do we use Rudy's kid VA or adult VA? Uh-oh. Now that's a question.
Obviously adult.
I feel like it'll be interesting if the kid VA is older than an adult VA. Could be a thing. Who knows?
Yeah, probably. The adult VA is just like, I am now a teenager. Fuck. Play the Uno reverse card.
Oh, who did it? I think they did that for Al. Al had a young voice actor, and he became, he got older and couldn't do the voice anymore, so they had to recast him.
Oh yeah.
But this episode, sad boy Rudy, of course, of what you're talking about, Eris leaving him and him trying to find his mom because that's the only person he hasn't found. Maybe one of his sisters as well. But yeah, he's in the north looking for her. We saw a glimpse of her at season 1. She doesn't look too all right, but
yeah, it looks like she's in your dungeon.
My dungeon, C's dungeon. Not
my dungeon. Excuse me, C's dungeon. Is she right behind you?
I just live here. I don't own it. I can't divulge that information. All I can just say is
you're waiting for Rudy to come.
You might be getting warmer if you come to my spot, Rudy. C has his taste. I'll say that much.
Yeah. It involves a Sable and it involves a Vlad.
Decrepit Storm said, "Didn't you inherit it when C died?" I thought I did, but there's a bigger C. Unfortunately,
it's known as the ocean.
Yeah, just ocean plans stop me dead in my tracks.
Oh no.
But so Rudy was trying to assimilate with this new group because he disbanded his, and I mean he was more than just sad boy. We're kind of downplaying it. He was suicidal in this episode because as Suzanne noted, he seemed like or when he was going to take on the mission by himself, she already saw it based on his demeanor and in the wagon they were in, that he just it seemed like he was giving up on life. And there was a moment in an episode where the bears were attacking and he was going to let the bear maul him, because he felt like
Muddy Bear.
Yeah, Muddy Bear. So yeah, he was ready to die in this episode, and it wasn't until he looked around him and he saw people fighting for life, and he realized the passion people had, and the struggles people are willing to go through to keep on living. And I think that reignited the fire back in him, and gave him something to live for again. Marine time strategies. But yeah, shout out to Suzanne, because she was helpful the entire episode. She kept trying to talk to Rudy and trying to trying to keep up some connection with him. And then Rudy in the entire episode was being very skeptical and adverse to her lending a hand to him, because she was like, or he was like, well, they're just using me to guide Sarah, who was immature and not good with other people. So he thought that they were just using him to, because he's also difficult for them to, bridge the gap. They thought that if you can get along with Rudy, you can get along with a whole bunch of people. But I think just Suzanne's just a nice person. So
yeah, she didn't. She could have turned him away dozens of times because of his attitude, and she never did.
Nope.
She stuck. She kept being kind, and kindness goes a long way.
And then even when Rudy shows off his power and does what he does, saves the day, and they go back to the guild and they're in a bar or whatever. Or no, I just think they were in the guild and everybody was drinking. They prop Rudy up. They complete the mission. They prop Rudy up and everybody toast to Rudy because they pay for everybody's drinks.
Yeah, did you hear all those guys talking shit?
Yeah,
they
the switch up was insane.
Shit. They fucking amateurs. I bet anyone could have done it. We're gonna buy everybody's drink.
We on the scale. Rudy.
Bunch of barflies, I swear to God. Just haters is what they were. They're talking all that shit and then just, hey.
That drink changed everything for them.
Yeah, all of a sudden they were their best friend.
Oh, man.
Oh, free beer? Fuck, man. Dude, you want me to get... Here. I'll give you all my livers.
Free beer is the language of love. It doesn't matter if you're in the north, south, east, west. Free drink. All you got to... Free drinks is the key to everybody's heart.
That is true. You walk into somewhere, everybody's kind of giving you the dirty eye. You're like, free drinks for everyone. They just kind of get even closer to you, and then they go, you friend, and I'm just, oh God.
As Kobeni said, drinks are tastier when it's paid for with somebody else's money.
So freaking true. That ain't a lie.
Yeah.
And Kobeni, she didn't lose. She didn't vomit into someone else's mouth.
Nope. The Grubber Star says, and that's why you win friends with alcohol. It's a thing. But it's pretty straightforward episode. It was just Rudy finding himself once again, and I don't think that this adventure group is going to be a group that lasts. I do think we'll be around them for a little bit just because of how featured Sarah and Suzanne were this episode. But I can't see this being a regular team for Rudy. Once Rudy is able to find a clue to his mother, then that's probably when he'll break off from the group. But yeah, I see this as just like a stepping stone for him to get where he needs to get, and for him to possibly help mainly Sarah with some of her character flaws. Because like what Rudy was thinking in the episode, she reminded him of Eris, and Eris had character flaws to where she couldn't get along with anybody, and so he's already adept at dealing with characters of that type. And to Sarah's credit, her starting point is better than what it was with Eris, because Eris was like a little demon child.
God.
Sarah is very headstrong and strong-willed, but she's not that awful. She's rude for sure, but again, she's not terrible.
Right. At least she admitted, like she gave him thanks whenever the time came. If that was Eris when we first saw her, she would have been like, I could have done that. Exactly. I could have done that. You're nothing. But Eris, she was one of those characters that I completely turned around on. I hated her character, but then towards the end of season 1, I really liked it because she was still kind of, who she was, but she wasn't as obnoxious. She became a really strong fighter.
Yeah. Decrepit Storm said, I wish she had a better reason for hating Rudy than you didn't answer the question as quickly as I wanted you to. I think what it is with Sarah is she has this unwavering loyalty towards Suzanne. So whenever she sees someone, what she perceives as a slight to Suzanne, she gets over zealous and trying to protect her honor and whatnot. Because what it was is, because it's not like she was trying to reach out to Rudy. When Suzanne tried to reach out to Rudy and Rudy gave her the cold shoulder, that's when she started to speak up in her defense. So it's more so, she definitely had her issues with Rudy, but it's more so, I want to protect, I don't know what she is to her exactly, but let's just say a friend. I want to protect my friend, Suzanne. I don't know what their relationship is. When Rudy looked at them, he saw Ghislaine and Eris in them. I don't know what the age gap is exactly, but I'll just say they're friends for now. I don't know if they're like mentor and student.
You think we'll see Ghislaine this season?
No. Well, this is going to be 24 episodes, 2 core, so maybe in a second core, but I don't expect to see Ghislaine.
When she comes back, we're going to celebrate. Free drinks for Ghislaine.
She's going to... Listen, EA. I'm going to tell you something about the man known as Sasuke the Savage and the characters that he likes. The characters that Sasuke the Savage likes, especially when they're women, they usually end up dead.
Oh, fuck.
So, I'm not saying that Ghislaine is going to die immediately upon us seeing her.
Well, now you say it.
But I do think she will die.
Probably some self-sacrifice. Some, get out of here, Rudy and Eris. I'll fend off this super strong Osprey guy. Yeah.
That could be a thing. It depends on the gap in time from when we see her, because the reason why I also say this is because I always felt, I think I even said it in the first season, it's when she gave her ring to Eris is like slowly overtaking like Ghislaine. You know, she's learning her techniques and she's getting some of her like accessories, and I'm sure she'll have the jacket, maybe. Who knows? Maybe even an eye patch.
She's gonna get the eye patch and not even have an eye missing, just like Megumi.
I mean, Ghislaine she just has the one green eye. I don't know what it does exactly, but she has both her eyes. I guess she just has to cover it up. Yeah,
I thought she. Oh,
she took it off in season 1.
I honestly don't remember that. Like, it's been so long.
Yeah,
but I'll take your word for it because I don't remember that.
now you're manifesting it. I'm preparing myself for it because it happens so often. If you've seen anything with me with my Danganronpa plays and some of the other characters that I like, it just happens. It happens, and I can always tell now when it's going to happen. So I don't like to be blindsided by it. So I'm preparing myself for her death.
You're like, this is my baby girl. She's the best in the world. Oh, her head's gone.
Happens every time. And that would be the merciful way to do it. Oh
God. Oh,
but
horrible.
This episode itself, now we're in the north. We cold. We adventuring. We happy. We have something to live for. So going forward, I expect a little more adventuring with this group, maybe for a couple of more episodes, and possibly finding a clue to see where MILF Zenith is. And yeah, but honestly, they can focus on any number of characters because of how spread out everybody is. So I wouldn't be surprised if we change the POV to Eris and see what she's going through, or change the POV to like Rudy's dad to see what he's going up into. So
who cares about Rudy's dad?
You got me. He's all right. He's all right.
You're like
me. Paul is all right.
Like, wait a minute. And you lost me.
Paul is all right with me. I don't dislike Paul. I think whenever they did that episode where they focused and him and Rudy had their fight, I said one thing I kind of like about Paul is, and we kind of had this conversation with Insomniacs with Marguerite's sister. I like that Paul isn't just the perfect dad. I like how he has a lot of shortcomings as a father, because I think it's either black or white, where the parent is either Maze Hughes, God's gift to earth, or they're absentee piece of shit, don't deserve kids type of father. With Paul,
that's
it's
true.
like, and then
kind of in between.
Yeah, our perception of Paul kind of changed too, because at first it was like everything was good, and then when he cheated, it was like, okay, this is a bad moment as a husband and father. And he's like, oh, everything is good, and you see more and more things about him that's kind of bad, right. But he feels more down to earth than some fathers.
He is very realistic. I just don't care for the guy. I mean, at least he's trying-ish. He's still a cheater.
Yeah.
and got his other, I guess the mistress pregnant, so he has another kid with the maid. And when his son came back, he just, instead of welcoming back, he's just like, "Where were you, Rudy? Piece of shit. Huh? Thought you were supposed to be great. You're fucking 10. I didn't like that about him, but at least he did apologize. I'll give him that. He said he was sorry, that he should have been a better father, and that did kind of like make me go, okay, I respect that, but I will never forget who you are as a person. Yeah. So I agree, that does make it real.
Yeah. Because you saw like how he snapped on Rudy, but then you also see like the bags under his eyes and how desperate he's looking for the rest of his kids. So it showed you, two different sides of him where, he loves his kids, but again, he's just not a perfect dad at all. But I think that's pretty much it with all the shows. This episode, the first episode of season 1, Mushoku Tensei, good episode, good starter episode. Got us back into the funk of things. One of the most intriguing things about this show to me is the world building. So with us being in the north, I expect
the White Walkers.
They're going to be better White Walkers. They're going to actually be a threat.
Right. And one stab and they all go away.
Jesus Christ. Oh.
Yeah, that was so bad. All that build up for 8 years, 8 seasons, just to go to shit.
But yeah, strong episode. But yeah, don't know exactly where we're going, but hopefully Zenith is all right, because we like our MILFs on this podcast. We like our MILFs alive. Yeah.
We sure do. We don't like dead MILFs.
Except for Kyoko Honda.
Yeah, she's a great mom. It's a shame that she got hit by that damn car and told what's his face that he'd never forgive her.
I'll never forget you. Decrepit Storm says Sarah Styles the White Walker and everyone is safe. Oh my god, that's going to be her redeeming thing. Oh god.
If that happens, I might have to kill the show
immediately. But yeah, first episode for all these shows, so the whole kill pass thing is not going to kick in until we get into the third episodes of things. So yeah, keep that in mind for the format of the podcast. Again, things aren't going to look exactly the same, maybe even 2 or 3 weeks from now. But as far as the camera issues with me, EA looks fine and well. That'll be fixed. Touch up on a couple of other things, and we'll be back and better. All right. But EA, question for you.
What is it, good sir?
Where can they find you?
What the hell? You can find me over at Everything Animated. My channel's over there. I know a certain show that premiered, what was it, Friday or Saturday? It involves girlfriends being rented. I didn't talk about it because, this is a show I kind of want to do whenever I feel like it.
Okay.
I don't want to do it weekly and be like, what's going to happen next to these losers? If I do happen to do it weekly, fine. If not, then that's quite all right as well. Just want to drop this in the chat really quick before I forget. We have a Patreon now, folks.
Oh, yes.
And yes, we have a KOA Patreon. Everything is in there in the description as to what's going to be happening. So if you are a Patreon exclusive, you will know what's going on. So there'll be a surprise for everyone else to see whenever that drops. I also have a Twitter, E_animated. I talk about anime. Oh, and speaking of Twitter, I guess I might as well talk about this as well. Hold on, where'd it go? Okay, damn it. Yep, there we go. We also have our own Twitter, the King of Anime Podcast Twitter.
Whoa.
C-Tactics has always had one. You've had one. Sasuke the Savage, and I have one. But now we have one specifically for the King of Anime Podcast. And I don't know what to do with it other than maybe talk about, hey, you want to watch our podcast? Here it is. So if you know anybody that isn't subscribed, come subscribe. Oh yeah, KOA Clips. Could do something like that. That would be a good idea. But yeah, so subscribe to this channel, follow that Twitter if you haven't, followed me. I also have a Twitch, but I haven't done anything on that Twitch in 2 years, so it's up to you if you want to follow me. I won't blame you if you don't, so.
It will be revitalized. Ouch. I'm manifesting it.
Okay, well then, I guess it'll happen. It has been written.
I'm telling you, I just need you to play the first Danganronpa. That's all I need. One
on sale for $5.99.
Yeah, I mean that's a good sale. Those games cost, well, I think the first Danganronpa may be like around $25, but those games are like $30, so that's a good price for it. Really good price. It's just, and it's a really fun. I think if you got enough people in there, I'm going to be there if you play it. Depending on what day you do it, because if you tell me that you're going to play it before then, I will literally not stream just so I can watch you play it. So I'll be there, and I'll try to get other people in there. But it's a fun game to play on stream. Detective type of game. You got to think about things. Wacky characters. I think you would enjoy it. So if you bring back your Twitch for Danganronpa, I think everybody will love it. Everybody. Being me.
As long as I make you happy, that's gonna be my Twitch.
It's just gonna be to please me. I'm just gonna be the only one in chat. Yeah, it's fucking great.
That'll be the name of that stream too. Is I did this to make Satsuki happy.
Well, I would love it. But as for myself. It's Sasuke the Savage. You can find me on my main channel, Sasuke the Savage, as well as my Twitter, Sasuke the Savage with a DA. Same name as my Twitch, where I play plethora of games. Nikkei recently ran cold from the developers of Danganronpa, or the creators of Danganronpa. This week I'll probably be playing Persona 5 Royal whenever my desk comes through, and I also play Ace Attorney. Right now I'm playing Ace Attorney Justice for All. Those are games I play on there, so if you're interested in any of those, check me out on my Twitch. I usually always play Saturdays, Sundays at around 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sometimes 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time if I'm feeling a little lazy and I got to sleep in a little longer. And as far as the stuff on the main channel, I am going to, I know I kept stalling the Yumiko video, but I am going to 100% guaranteed book it, write it in your diary, tell it to your grandma, put it on the billboard. I'm going to make a video for Insomniacs After School on my main channel because I love that manga, I love the anime, and I want more people on it. So this video is going to be one of those why you should watch type of videos to, you know, hype it up more, give it more press, because I don't think that show got its proper dues. So I got to contribute. Agreed. But appreciate everybody who watched. We had a good amount of viewers. Tell us if you think the face cams work. If we're too ugly, we'll turn it off.
It's like, yeah, turn your faces back off.
They're gonna do us like, what was that YouTuber? I don't even know who he is. Maybe you know him. His name is like Dream or something. And then he did like a face reveal, and then people didn't like his face, and they were like, put it.
That is so messed up, because I think I saw him. He just looked like a young person.
Yeah.
He didn't even look that bad. He was just, I don't know. I think people have this illusion that they imagine he looks better with the mask because I imagine him to look like something else. Just get over yourselves.
Yeah, people. I looked at him. I was like, okay, he just looks like a guy. He doesn't look like young Denzel Washington or anything like that. He just looks like a guy. Not that I'm the evaluator of the beauty of men, but he just looked like a guy to me. He didn't look weird. Not to me, at least.
Sorry that this guy couldn't look like Chris Hemsworth from Thor or something. You know, he's fucking just an average dude. Yeah, right. He got canceled for looking average. Could you imagine? You're just an average nerdy dude, and then just all of a sudden, you had a mask on before, put it the fuck back on.
Odd. That's odd. But yeah, that went on a little tangent. But yeah, let us know. QR said handsome as always, so appreciate the kind words. QRW says we'll keep on with the face cams. If you think we're ugly, you got to deal with it.
Well, I'm sure someone will come along and be like, "Oh, this is the King of Anime Lame podcast. What a bunch of ugly people."
Oh yeah.
QR, please ban this guy, please.
Now I got to be a little more careful, because now they could put faces to the quotes that I say. Got to be a little more careful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Public enemy number one. Sasuke said he hates women. Why does he keep referring to women in this dismissive way? Why does he keep saying it as women?
Oh my god.
But love y'all. Have a nice night. Peace wherever you are. We out. Bye bye. Johnny.